Hello, my friends. Ruben Obed here. Going to try this once again. This is episode 68 of the Ruben Obed Show, and the title of this show is It's Our Fault. Um, I started talking about this earlier, but the internet was acting iffy, so I'm doing this again. And basically, what I was saying is that a missile costs upwards of $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money, especially for poor people. $1 million. $1 million for me would take me out of debt, would fix my entire life. I could fix my family's life. I could help a lot of people with $1 million. But the government makes a missile and it costs $1 million for something that's just gonna explode and that's it. You know, I'm not. I'm all for the military. I'm a Trump supporter, and I believe we need our military. But it's kind of difficult for me to accept the fact that a missile costs $1 million, but people pay $7 an hour. But at the same time, it's our fault. That's what the subject is. This is our fault. It's our fault because we as people have allowed this to happen. If we stood up right now and said the whole United States and all Puerto Rico and say, nope, we are not going to work for no $7 an hour. We are not. Just because there's a minimum wage doesn't mean that's what you have to pay me. Give me a decent wage. If everybody stands up in unison and does that shit, things will change. If everybody stands up in unison and says, hell no, we ain't gonna pay those high electric bills. Hell no, credit, the credit score system is too strict, too abusive, and the cars cost too damn much. Hell no, we're not gonna go for it. We have the power, but it's our fault. Right now, Kanye West made a statement about slavery existing for 400 years, and it sounded like a choice. But let me tell you something, it was a choice. I agree with him. Because if all of those slaves would have stood up in unison and said, hell no, it wouldn't have been slavery. They were the majority in that plantation. And let's say you had 20 slave masters, you got 300 slaves. Easily. You could have easily overpowered them. But they weren't slaves physically only, they were slaves in the mind. It's like the paradox of the elephant. There's a trainer takes a little baby elephant and ties him up to a little fence with a little shoestring, and the baby elephant can't get away. Can't break the shoestring. But then as he gets older, he's a big full-grown elephant weighing 2-3 tons, but in his mind, he can't break that little string. He could snap that little string in a second, but the elephant in the mind, he believes he can't break the string. It's his fault. It's our fault. I think about these things because there's been times where I ain't got no money. There's been times where I'm running low on food, or don't got nothing. I gotta hustle to figure out how I'm gonna get the next meal, or figure out how I'm gonna pay my phone bill, or figure out how I'm gonna do this and do that. During the storm, it was the same thing. And that's part of life. We got to hustle. We got to work. We got to, try to get ahead. Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you see that a missile costs upwards of $1 million, and sometimes you don't got $10, that puts some shit in your head. You know what I mean? Life is really, sometimes it's unfair, Now, that is kind of the argument that a lot of Democrats have. But the problem with the Democrats is that they believe that we should take from the rich to give to the poor. They got that Robin Hood mentality. And that's wrong. Because if a person is willing to bust their ass and study and become a doctor, you shouldn't be able to take his money. He busted his ass. He paid his dues. Ben Shapiro talks a lot about this. He's saying, that a lot of people talk about universal health care, but the issue with universal health care is who's going to pay for it. Because if you rob the doctors of the incentive to even become a doctor and you take their money, people ain't going to be a doctor no more. So then everybody will have a universal health care, but there'll be no doctors. Seriously, because if I want to make money and I'm going to go to college or become a degree, get a degree, become a lawyer, it's because I want to make money. It isn't because I want to give my fucking money away to a whole bunch of lazy ass motherfuckers that ain't doing shit. You know, my incentive, like right now, I'm a music producer. I want to become rich. I want to make money. I want to. Now, when I become rich, I'm gonna help the people that are with me, absolutely. You know, because I'm not a greedy person, but it'll be willingly. I'll willingly help people out. But it'll be really messed up if I bust my ass as a producer making music, going through the humiliation of going through the process of becoming a successful musician and music producer, and then all of a sudden when I make it, they're gonna take my money to go fund people who get living off of EBT cards or fund. No, hell no, that's not gonna happen. So I understand rich people. Even though I'm not rich, I understand them. Don't nobody want nobody to take your money. Everybody's gotta, and I'm not disregarding empathy. Absolutely, you have to have empathy for people, especially people who are not well off. And if I become a millionaire because God gave me a talent and gave me some big breaks, you know what? I have a responsibility to help out the less fortunate. Absolutely, but I'm not forced to. You know what I mean? It should be a a willingful thing. So I can't support that. Even though I'm empathetic, I can't support that EBT entitlement mentality. Now, mind you, on the same token, there are people who really need that. Elderly people or mothers with children who just can't make it. I understand that some people actually do need the food stamps, and I get it, man. I really get it, because I've been there. I know what it is, and but it's just that a lot of stuff is our fault, because there shouldn't be mothers on EBT. Why? Because jobs shouldn't be paying freaking minimum wage only, I mean, minimum wage is a good thing because it establishes a point. It's like, you can't pay us less than that. And that's perfect. That's a good thing. But minimum wage does not mean you have to pay the person minimum wage. I mean, you as an employer, you know what minimum wage is here in Puerto Rico. That's a big problem. They take minimum wage as if that's what we have to pay you. Everybody here makes minimum wage. That sucks. You know what I'm saying? Walgreens here pays minimum wage. When I moved to Puerto Rico, all right, I used to be a caseworker in New Jersey making $47,000 a year. I came to Puerto Rico in 2003, and the only job that I could get was at a Walgreens, and I was making $5.15 an hour. And that was my reality. That was the minimum wage in 2003. $5.15 an hour working at a Walgreens. Come on. Walgreens can afford to pay its employees a little bit better than $5.15 an hour. And that's what goes on in the world. If my business were prosperous, I wouldn't pay nobody no $5.15 an hour. I wouldn't pay them $7. I would give them a nice, daily rate, that something substantial. Maybe not give them no $15 an hour if I can't afford it, but and if you are going to pay them minimum wage, when it's slow, when business is slow, if you pay them minimum wage, then you know what? When business picks up, don't pay them minimum wage. Give them a little extra. Give them a bonus. Greed, man, greed. And this is all our fault. Because if all of us as independent people would stand up and say, you know what? We're not going to work. Nobody, the whole country, we're not going to work until you pay us a fair wage. In one day, things would change. But everybody will have to be united and say, hell no, we refuse for you to pay us only minimum wage. We wouldn't even need Congress, because the employers will be like, all right, come back, we'll give you 12. We'll give you 10 an hour. They can do it. We wouldn't even need the government to do that because they could leave the minimum wage as it is. This is about us pressuring the employers to do what's right. You know, just because minimum wage is $7 an hour doesn't mean that's what you have to pay me. You know, you could do a little better than that, employers. You know, because the employers, they like to criticize the people that go on EBTs. But let me tell you, the reason why they're going on EBT is because your ass is too fucking greedy to give them a living wage. So don't criticize the person that goes on an EBT card when they figure, well, I might as well just stay home and not do nothing because I'm better off. I get Medicaid, you know, I get food stamps, I can sleep till noon. That's what they think. That's why they're on EBT. They're on EBT because there's no incentive to work. Because what you as an employer want to pay them is bullshit. It's peanuts. So you criticize because you're forced to have empathy, but at the same time, you want to be greedy. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You got to meet people halfway, you know? So I'm not for raising the minimum wage. No, I think minimum wage is a guideline that needs to be there. But I am for people getting paid a decent wage, you know? What does Walgreens, Walmart, what do they have to lose to give you by giving you an extra dollar or $1.50 on your salary? They got nothing to lose. Because all they got to do, if y'all want to raise the prices 10 cents, you know? You can raise the prices 10 cents on everything or 5 cents. And you'll more than make up. But that's just the thing. But it's our fault. It's our fault because we as human beings lack the unity and lack the, you know, that's why we pay a lot of electric. That's why electric bills come real freaking high. Because they know, no matter how high, we're the stupid asses that are gonna pay. And if you smoke cigarettes, the reason why cigarettes are so high is because everybody, they can raise it up to $50. You still gonna go buy the pack and smoke it. You know? All the smokers stand up. Boycott them, you know? Get a whole bunch of nicotine patches and say, we ain't gonna smoke till y'all asses lower the price. In one day, motherfuckers would change. They'll lower the prices, you know? Right now here in Puerto Rico, a gallon of milk costs $7. $7 for a gallon of milk. As if the cows are asking for more. Let me tell you, the grass is still growing the same way it grew 300, 400 years ago. You know, the cow's titties are still producing the same kind of milk. Cows ain't gone on strike. So why is a gallon of milk here in Puerto Rico cost $7? Why is it that here in Puerto Rico, a dozen of eggs cost $4? That's the reality. Why is it that in New York, the kilowatt hour is 19 cents, and here in Puerto Rico, they're going to put it upwards of 30-something cents per kilowatt hour? It's our fault. Because our stupid asses don't get up collectively and complain and put the pressure on. It's our fault. So don't talk shit. It's all our fault. You know? It's our fault. A lot of times people want to blame the government and blame this and blame that. No, man. I remember when I lived in New Jersey, I used to work for a migrant farm workers organization. This was before I was a caseworker. I used to work for this organization that helped the migrant farm workers. So I'm very familiar with the migrant farm worker community in New Jersey, especially I was in the Glassboro area. And basically what we did there at the organization is we would form labor unions to protect the rights of the farm workers. That was my job, you know. And they had a saying, and it was in Spanish, La unión hace la fuerza. Unity gives you the power. The union, to unite. And that is the truth, you know. They did a lot of stuff. They did a lot of positive things, you know. They helped them farm workers, you know, when the farmers were throwing pesticides in the fields and they didn't, without any regard to the migrant farm workers that were down there, we jumped in. And we advocated for these farm workers and got them lawyers. Unity, man. Unity is to get them equal rights. Now you might say, damn, Ruben, you're defending the Mexican migrant farm workers and you're a Trump supporter. Exactly. That is why I'm a Trump supporter. Because I know what's going on. I've been involved. I know what's going on, you know. Because while I was there, I saw how these migrant farm workers were using fake license plates, driving with no license, using fake social security cards. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. They're trying to survive. But it's our fault. It's our fault because we don't have in place a decent enough system to get these people to come here legally. That's why, you know. It's our fault. It's our fault those people are coming across the border. It's our fault, you know, for not taking a proactive measure, for not helping these people out. You know what? If we would have given these farm workers incentives and helped them out, they could have came over here, worked the fields, go back to Mexico. They would have been happy in Mexico. The people, they love their land, man. I love Puerto Rico. I'm here, you know. Mexicans, they love Mexico, you know. And if they could live in Mexico comfortably and provide for their families, they wouldn't be here. They're here because shit is screwed up over there. And it's not, we as Americans, we don't got to carry them. You know, that's not our duty. But it is our duty to be able to, like, try to deal with things and try to be, you know, be a little more proactive. And us as a society, we need to stand up. We need to stand up and say something and protest, you know, because it's our fault. It's our fault. Right now, man, the billions of dollars that came into Puerto Rico, billions upon billions of dollars to fix the damn electrical system, and it's still screwed up. And you got the people of Morovis and Yabucoa. They've been almost a year with no power still. They're still with no power. I was watching the news a few minutes ago. They still have no power in Yabucoa. And they ain't got no power in Morovis. How is that possible? How is it possible? You know? I saw all the help that came in. I saw the freaking army jets and the big ass helicopters going back and forth and bringing food. I saw the Army Corps of Engineers. Man, and it's been almost a year and people are still without power. Totally unacceptable. It's our fault. It's our fault, man. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on this whole situation. There's really not much I can do as a single person, but I'll tell you one thing. If people stand up, people unite, the abuse will end, and we will all prosper. So, Ruben Obed, episode 68. It's our fault.